I am here with my dear friend Buzz the Bee from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. You are going to want to keep a close eye on the weather today, am I right? And let me tell you, it's time now for your local weather report, brought to you by Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Let's buzz on over to the Main Street Media TV Weather Center.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
Happy Wednesday to you. I'm Kelly Rawson in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We have a few more clouds today compared to yesterday for southern middle Tennessee. Temperatures starting off in the 50s this morning will eventually make it up into the upper 70s to lower 80s. Today is going to be breezy at times, and I can't completely rule out a stray shower, but we should be mostly dry for today. Better rain chances, unfortunately, come tomorrow just in time for Halloween. But for the rest of today, again, mostly dry, partly cloudy. Temperatures fall back into the 60s into the evening and overnight. Temperatures for your Thursday starting off in the 60s, and then for the afternoon on Halloween, we are looking at widespread rain and storms, unfortunately. The good news, no severe weather expected, but this will put a damper on trick-or-treating plans, and that rain will continue into Friday morning. But the second half of Friday is looking dry. Temperatures a little bit cooler as well, thanks to that cold front moving through. But then for the rest of the weekend, we are going to be nice and dry, mostly sunny to partly cloudy. And don't forget to put back those clocks 1 hour Saturday night before you head to bed.
Thank you for that update. Tune in each day on Mornings on Main Street for an up-to-date weather report brought to you by Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. All of their contact information is below. Have a great day.
Good morning, Stefanie.
Good morning. Hi, kids. A hot tea, please.
Welcome to Mornings on Main Street. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. Thanks so much for stopping by today. Cancer is a global health crisis and a leading cause of death worldwide, with 9.7 million cancer deaths in 2022. That is according to the National Cancer Institute. Well, since its founding in 2014, the Scott Hamilton Cares Foundation has committed to revolutionizing cancer care by funding cutting-edge research and also expanding on cancer education. I had the pleasure of sitting down with its founder, Mr. Scott Hamilton, with my Community Checkup co-host, Missy Acosta, recently. And we wanted to share the work done by this foundation with you this morning. I also have information on November's Holiday Spectacular. It is the Scott Hamilton and Friends Holiday Spectacular happening at Bridgestone, where proceeds will go back to the Scott Hamilton Cares Foundation. So I'll have that for you coming up toward the end of the show. But first this morning, let's get a check of your headlines.
Hello, here's the latest news and weather from Main Street Media TV. A Clarksville man, Javis Hall, has been arrested by the Christian County Sheriff's Office for making threats against a Hopkinsville elementary school, violating an emergency protective order, and false reporting. The Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security reports 676 traffic incidents due to distracted driving in Cheatham County from 2013 to 2023, with 2 more cases in September 2024 involving first responders' vehicles. Ashland City Police arrested Malik Jamal Guy, 21, an attempted murder suspect involved in a May shooting and robbery, now held on a $505,000 bond.
So Busy Bee is a very close-knit family. We fight just like every family does. We have arguments, but we always come out with a solution to the problems. We don't just fight about what we want, we fight about what customers need. We want to make sure that every customer we go to is more than satisfied. And that doesn't just start whenever we show up at their door, that starts when we show up every day at work. We want to make sure that we are serving our customers to the best of our ability.
Step into the Lionel retail store at Opry Mills, Nashville, and you'll be captivated by all the magic of the 123-year history of Lionel trains. Whether you're already a train enthusiast or just getting started, Lionel will energize your love for trains. NASCAR fan? Come check out your local Lionel station to learn all there is to know about model trains and die-cast NASCAR collectibles. Visit nashville.lionel.com or call 615-455-9399.
This holiday season, the largest lantern festival in the country returns to Nashville Zoo. Experience more than 1,000 all-new, handcrafted lanterns, towering creatures, magical worlds, and a North Pole village. At the center of it all, the Smashville Ice Rink. Welcome back to Zoolumination at Nashville Zoo. Bigger, brighter, and better than ever.
Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. 47 years after American figure skater and Olympic gold medalist Scott Hamilton lost his mother to cancer, and after his own battle with cancer, he now shares the new hope and why others may not have to bury their loved ones. And this is all thanks to advancement in research, the latest in immunotherapies, and also cancer treatment. So I get to share a piece of that this morning from our community checkup with Delta Dental of Tennessee. Here's more from that episode.
Speaking of what charities do in this town, what Scott Hamilton Cares does is simply amazing. Will you share with us the story about how you started Cares?
Well, I started, like so many people, I lost a loved one to cancer, and it was my mom who I worshipped. She was like the center of my universe, and she was diagnosed with a form of cancer called metastatic melanoma. It showed up in her breast. And they threw everything they could at it, and she suffered for 2 years and died. And it shattered my life, so I became a fundraiser. And then 20 years, two months shy of 20 years of losing my mom, I get that diagnosis. And the fear was extraordinary, because all I saw was what she went through was, just desperation and fear and suffering and diminishment of all those things. And when I was given the final diagnosis, I had stage 3 germ cell testicular cancer. And I would joke that I didn't want cancer there, anywhere but there, right? And they said, no, if you had to pick a cancer, like who'd pick a cancer? If you had to pick one, this is a good one, because it's 90% treatable. And it struck me all at once that my mom didn't have a chance, and yet I'm given 90% because of research. Okay, note to self. And then I went through 4 months of chemotherapy, lost every hair on my body. I was losing my hair anyway, so I don't really care. But there's something about that whole thing of loss of identity, loss of control, loss, all the things that go through with that first initial chemotherapy thing, and I'm going note to self. Then I went on Dr. Google and I tried to figure out what I was going through, and Dr. Google is not the best place to go, I'm going to say. But I realized that my doctor, I said, how sick am I going to get with chemo? And he said, moderate to severe. And I said, what does that look like? And he said, moderate to severe. And I said, note to self. So then I went, in Dr. Google, all I found was medical journal papers with 12-syllable words. And I'm thinking, this isn't fair. I'm too dumb to be sick. This is wrong. And so I was very motivated to get through chemo, a 38 staple surgery, which was, I call it filet au Scott. And then I wanted to be back on tour the next year, and I knew that I had a lot of work to do in order to make that happen. And in that, I did a comeback show, and we budgeted in a large sum of money to get back to the Cleveland Clinic for saving my life. And I was really honored to present them with a check for $100,000 to just as a thank you. And they said, well, I think there are things you want to do here, right? And I go, if I had the opportunity, there's a lot of things I want to do to help the next patient. And they said, well, let's get to work. So we collaborated and came up with the Cancer Alliance for Research, Education, and Survivorship. And in that, the very first thing we did was we created a mentorship program that pairs newly diagnosed patients with survivors. I didn't have that. I wanted to quit after round 3 because I thought I was failing. And little did I know it's kind of normal. And so the more you're able to have a life coach and sort of a role model to work with, it changes the entire journey. The second thing I did was I was the organ grinder's monkey for 5 years to build a website called chemocare.com. And I'm not going to get this out, but I did a speech recently for oncology nurses in this area. And I was talking about chemo care. I go, anybody use chemo care? And with puzzled looks, 100% of them raised their hands. And all it is everything you need to know about chemotherapy, how it's administered, every drug is listed and it described, and all the side effects that are associated with those drugs are listed and described in 8th grade English and Spanish. So now everybody has a resource to kind of buy into their treatment and understand it. And with that, it's not a step in the dark, because I felt like every step I took was in the dark. And so once we accomplished those things, we launched from the Cleveland Clinic because I wanted to raise more money for research. And there's very strict guidelines of how you can raise money when you're a part of a medical institution. And so I said, can I take the brand and go public? And the CEO of the Cleveland Clinic said, you've done a lot for us. Go. And so we needed to figure out who we were as a foundation now that was going to be a research foundation. And so we just said we're gonna fund the future of cancer treatment options, which is immunotherapy. It's an immune response to cancer. And it's remarkable that 3 years after we put that stake in the ground, the first immunotherapy drug hit the market. And I was like, We even meet researchers now saying, how did you know? And I was like, I'm very smart. But it's amazing how the immunotherapy world has just exploded. And we know that's the promise of next. And we know it now. It's been proven. So we just keep doing things. And, on the 40th anniversary night of my Olympic gold medal, I was with the silver medalist Brian Orser and the bronze medalist Joseph Ovchik. We hadn't seen each other together, the three of us, in 20 years, and so it was time to reunite. And we had so much fun together, just laughing and reminiscing. And it's odd that a podium is that close, because a lot of it's this, right? But no, we're really good friends. And on that night, I announced that the metastatic melanoma project that we've funded 3 years ago is in clinical trial. That's the stuff, right? So 47 years after I lose my mom, there's hope that a 18-year-old boy isn't going to have to bury her, his mom, So there's hope, and with hope comes renewed passion and energy, and we're going after big, bad, nasty bullies. One of them is glioblastoma multiforme. We found out so much about this cancer, and we're learning and growing, and part of understanding how to defeat an enemy is understanding how they work.
You talk about hope, and I think one of the greatest symbols of that hope is your logo for Scott Hamilton.
Yeah, we have an upside down cancer ribbon. Like, here it is. Here's our logo right here, and you can see our cancer ribbon is upside down because I spent most of my professional career upside down doing backflips. But we really want to turn cancer upside down, and in that we mean that we want to change it from fear and hopelessness to just the unshakable faith and understanding that we have now found a way to cure your cancer. The research community is now saying words like cure instead of, what is it? Possible. No, not possible. It's more like remission, which means that your cancer is hiding behind a bush somewhere, just waiting to strike at any given moment. It's like, let's just call that 5-year remission period a period of vigilance and not call it remission anymore, because it scares me to call it remission. Now we can talk about cure, and I'm excited to really just be sharing that.
And cure is such an incredible word, but for those who may not be cured, you are definitely lengthening their lives with immunotherapy. And I get to say that personally because thanks to immunotherapy, my mom was given a little more time before she passed from cancer. So I'm incredibly thankful for the work that has been done and all that you've put into it in your lifetime.
Well, thank you. It's amazing that I was at a cancer fundraiser one time called Buying Time. And it was the gentleman. He was a football player for Notre Dame, and his brother was too, and they do this fundraiser in his name every year. He was diagnosed with an incurable cancer, and he said, can you slow it down? And they said, we can slow it down, but we can't stop it. And he goes, just give me as much time as you can. And as a sort of a talisman of that night, oh, by the way, he was given 18 months to live, and he lived 5 years. And then in hospice, he basically shared that he was so grateful for the cancer diagnosis because he never would have lived those 5 years. He would have coasted those 5 years. So, but I got this beautiful hourglass. And it just reminds me that a grain is a grain, a grain is a day, a grain is an hour, whatever. But it's like all we really want, knowing that we're very vulnerable, fragile, susceptible, resilient, temporary. Like we're here for our time. So all we really want is more sand, you know? And we don't want things to disrupt our sand. We don't want anything to take away our sand. And so, you know, just being introduced to cancer through my mom and then through survivorship and being able to try to impact the next person with this disease. And we're just working really hard to put on events and to bring people together to celebrate life and to create hope and great optimism that the science is here, the funding is here. If we can close the gap, oh my goodness, we'll change cancer forever.
Let's talk about changing that gap.
Yes.
So you do have an event coming up here. It's one of my favorite events every year.
Yep, it is. Yeah, it's we do a live music and skating show, and it is beyond sensory overload. It's really wild to mix those two genres of one is movement, the other one is music, to create a marriage of those two live. It's so overwhelmingly exciting that I've seen these sort of grizzled veterans in the entertainment community become 5-year-old kids again. It's so fun. And we're getting our musicians together now. It's been challenging this year because everybody's on tour. Like, really? Come on. You're supposed to take my time off so that you can come and participate in this. But we've had so many iconic, amazing musicians over the years. And this year, you know, CeCe Winans is coming back, and we have Stephen Curtis Chapman. We have other people I'm waiting on to clear. I've got some invitations out that are rather large, and I'm hopeful and optimistic that we'll bring them in. And like every year, you know, we do a spectacular show, and everybody walks out just really happy that they were there. And we celebrate life, and we honor those that are going through their battles, and we honor those that have lost their battles, but in the hope that in the future, no one will lose their battle.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
Being a part of a cooperative is being a part of something bigger. Farm Credit Mid-America is a customer-owned lender that specializes in agricultural financing for farm real estate, operating, and farm equipment. A unique benefit of being a part of the Farm Credit Mid-America Cooperative is our patronage program, which has put over $1 billion back in our customers' hands over the last 7 years. That's the power of a cooperative. Visit us at fcma.com to learn more.
I own the land. I farm the land. Together we're farmers. This is our cooperative.
He shoots, and he scores!
Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. I know you're sticking around for all the information for the Scott Hamilton and Friends Holiday Spectacular. Well, this is happening on November 24th at Bridgestone Arena. It will start at 5 o'clock. You can find tickets at Ticketmaster, but there is also an after-show event happening at the Omni Hotel. And insider tip tells me this is a ticket you really want to snag. But again, all tickets can be found at Ticketmaster.